Hello, it's Marcia from Then and There. I've decided I'm going to do a video today showing you how I make um, my wood pendants that I have shown on several journals. Just recently, the last one I just showed was this one here, which is just a wood pendant with some book text in the background and jewelry findings. And they're embedded in glossy accents. So that's what we're going to be using today is glossy accents. Now I have done some like this one, and let's see, I have several over here. And this one also, which I used a two-part pour resin which requires measuring and mixing, and it's just a little bit more work. It has a nice effect. I have noticed over the years that it has yellowed. This was a grayscale. Well, the background was grayscale. The monarch was in color, but it's kind of got a bit of a sepia tone now, whereas before it didn't. It was just grayscale. This one has more yellowing, but only because I used a wood stain on the wood before applying the resin and the image, so some of that leaked into the resin, but yeah, I don't mind them. I don't mind the look. I'm okay with it. The only reason I switched to glossy accents is it's easier. I find that it takes less time to set. Yeah, those are my main reasons, is it's easier. So today we're going to put a couple together. I have picked out a vintage wallpaper, which I like this pattern. It's a small floral pattern that won't get lost on a small thing like this. I did want to say what I use is just the wood shapes and discs that you can get at like craft stores in the woodcraft section. They're really inexpensive. This bag of 12 was $1.99, and if you wanted to, you could use your coupon and it would be even cheaper. But yes, I use those. Whew, take a deep breath. Sorry if you hear, apparently I've been told I'm kind of a loud breather, and one reason for that is that my camera is literally right in front of my face when I'm doing this, because I do it standing up, and which is nice because I can then see the screen and I can also see what I'm doing. So if you hear me breathing, I apologize. I also seem to need to catch my breath more when I'm nervous. So, and these videos do make me nervous, yes. So what I've done is I've grabbed some things. This is one that I started. I have put on the book text and some dried flowers, and what I used on this to put it onto the disc was Mod Podge. I don't have any Mod Podge currently. I'm out, so what I'm going to be using is this glue stick, which is a very good glue stick that I have found that I like to use. It is called the Scotch Create. It's a permanent glue stick and it's multi-purpose. Quite strong. I know there are others out there that are quite, I've heard, are rather strong as well. I personally have not used them though, but I can vouch for that one. And I have some different shapes. This one was another project that was not finished, but I like how the blue kind of brings out the blue in this, hopefully you can see that, blue in this wallpaper. So I'm going to use that, and I will just get started here and show you how I do it. I'm going to, what am I going to start with? I'm going to start with this. I'm going to do this one first by just applying the glue directly to my wood. This is how I like to do it. Of course, you could apply it to the paper as well. I want to make sure it has a good coating. I don't want anything peeling off because it wasn't stuck to begin with, or it have bubbles where it's not attached. So I'm going to do that. Let's see. One thing I do know is if you have backlighting, you can kind of hold it up like so, and kind of see where, while you're placing it, where it's going to be on your disc. Press it on good so that you know it's well attached. And then what I do is I just cut around it like so. Hopefully everything is focusing okay. Get that out of my way. And I'm going to take this. Let's see, which part? I want a blue flower. It's like I said, I like the way the paint works with that. And I think I'm just going to put that right there. How do I want to do it? I'm going to do it this way. Not quite so much. I don't want it to just cut it directly in half. I don't feel like that's a pleasing look. I'm always forgetting to close up my glue stick. Okay. That. And it's not a pretty cut, but that's okay because we're going to go around it with sandpaper and smooth the edges and kind of blend it into the wood. You just want to make sure it's stuck down well before we apply it, or before we put the glossy accents on it. There you go. Like that. And that, I don't know if I said, that's just some vintage wallpaper. Okay, now I'm going to be adding this bird charm, this bird charm on here as well. So that one's going to look like that. This one I wanted to do because it's going to be a different kind of thing altogether. That side had, excuse me, I'm sniffling. It had glue on it. Okay, this one has some strange words. That's one thing you do want to look at. This one says something like people killed. It says corpses. Oh, wow. Persecutions, plagues, epidemics. Just strange. I have no idea what this book was about, but I'm going to be using some gesso to just cover that up, and you won't be able to read it. You'll be able to make out that there's text behind it, but not necessarily what it says. Hopefully. Because, yeah, I don't want all that in there. Okay, let's see. And of course I would drop it. I want it to be right about like so. I want my text to be fairly straight, but also, like I said, it isn't going to make a huge difference. So we're going to do these. Get all my trash out the way. I do tend to be a messy, messy crafter. And then we're just going to sand around the edges, and it makes it nice and smooth. It looks like it was nicely cut and put on there. I'm going to kind of make, I hope that's focused, how I kind of round the edges so it's not a sharp edge. I think that's the term I'm looking for. Now, you don't want to do this over pendants that you've already put glossy accents on, because then all your dust will end up on your what's it called? On your pendant, in your glossy accents. I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. I'm trying to multitask. That's hard work. Okay, that one's all sanded. And just do the same thing with this. You can't really see the blue next to the wallpaper, but there's blue on the back side, which is complementary. Just so you know, this is a 1.5" disc. These are 1" discs, just for size difference. This last time just felt like I wanted to try a different size. I like the larger ones because you can collage more on them. You're not limited as much with space, but sometimes I want to do just a small little charm with just a word or two on it. Which that's another fun thing that I like to do, is just take a book text like this, cut out words, and create some poetry, found text poetry, which is fun. I just flung my bird. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of gesso and just kind of roughly, maybe a bit more than that. I want to have a bit of what appears to be texture. You won't be able to feel it. Well, I hope my lighting is kind of funny today. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. My lighting is funny. It's been cloudy. The sun's been shining. It's just one of those days where you never know what's going to happen, but it's not too bad. Okay, you can kind of tell there's text. If you can see it, you can kind of tell there's text there, but not completely. I'll let that dry while I work on the other one. I need to wipe my finger off somewhere. I don't have a rag nearby, so I will just use a piece of trash. Yeah, sure. Now I'm going to ink this one up. Oh, I was going to just tell you, this thing is, I should have gotten a new piece of felt to put on here. This is just two pieces of two Jenga blocks glued together, and then I taped around them. And put on a piece of sticky backed Velcro. And cut out a piece of just craft felt. And put that on there. Just kind of press it on. Because it's wanting to fall off, which is why I know I need a new one. But I didn't think to do that. But it works, it's quite effective, in my opinion, to just ink around the edges. Kind of on here as well. I also want to ink on that edge where the wallpaper starts, just to kind of accent that. You don't want it to look like one, well, I don't want it to look like one piece of paper, one image. You want it to look like a collage, because that's what it is, at least in my opinion. I'm going to just ink all of this while I have the ink on here. And then we put the resin. You know, not resin. I keep calling it resin. It is not resin. It is glossy accents. It acts like a resin. Dimensional. It's called clear dimensional medium. And I do know that there are some other brands of this sort of product. I know Mod Podge does make a product similar to this. Again, I'm trying to do two things at one time. I have not tried it though. I'm sure that it is comparable to this. I'm just letting it run to the edge. And I'm just going to use my tool here. This is my awl, but I'm using it just to kind of work the medium down to the edge. There are sirens going off everywhere. There's a dog howling. I don't know if you can hear all that. But of course, it's happening. Oh, I think we got more than one dog howling now. We got several. I hope it wasn't anything horribly serious. I know it's been very dry lately. We did get rain last night and yesterday, so that was a blessing because it has been very dry here in Kansas. I have to get to that edge there. I hope. Oh, I'm getting like super close. I'm sorry. I get so involved in what I'm doing, I'm not paying attention to where my camera is. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a push pin or a straight pin here and pop these bubbles. Hopefully. It usually works, but not always. My goal is not perfect though, so as many of the bubbles as I can get, I like to get out. Now if you've worked with resin before, then you might know that with resin you can just take like a lighter, like one of the long lighters, and oh, there's a stubborn bubble. Just go over it and it draws the bubbles out. With glossy accents that doesn't work. I've tried it and it starts to harden the surface of your glossy accents and it makes it kind of bubbly. So I don't suggest doing that. Oh, I had a pair of tweezers and I put them away already. Because I did this video once and then I realized that the lighting was even worse than it is now. And I rambled way too much. But okay, I believe I got most all of the bubbles out. And I'm just going to place my bird charm where I want it. Which, kind of shaky. Oh no. The bird kind of did a nosedive. I'm going to lift him up a bit. Okay. Now as the glossy accents dries, it becomes less dimensional. It settles, I guess is a good way to put it. So it will not be this thick once it's set. But I'm happy with that. I like how that looks. It does look milky right now, but once it's dry it will be crystal clear. So I'm just going to set that over here out of the way. I usually let those set for a good, I usually wait overnight. I'm just going to do that for a minute. Just overnight or for at least, I don't know, a good 6 to 8 hours, just to make sure that it is set before I start messing with it. Clean up my stuff a little bit before I start the next one. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm gonna ink it, I think. Because there's no actual image to this, I'm going to ink it a bit more to kind of draw out the texture of the gesso. And then I'm going to sand it again just to kind of bring some of that white back. Yes, I'm sniffling, sorry. I'm always sniffling, it seems. Okay, I'm just going to hit the back real quick, just because I'm hoping to get this video done in just one take, no cuts, so that it can be done quicker. Because I don't like editing videos My lighting is really funny, but I hope it works. Oh, I like that. Makes it look all chippy and old. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, and on this one, and make sure you get all your dust off so it doesn't fog up your glossy accents. And then I'm gonna put this feather on this one, I think. Ooh, yeah, like that. Hopefully, once it's all flattened out, it fits. So with this one, I'm going to do a layer of glossy accents. And then I'll do the feather and then another layer. And I'll just show you that. I don't remember if I've said this or not, but it looks like you're using a lot of glossy accents when you're making these, which it does take a bit, but you can get a lot of pendants out of 1 2-ounce bottle, which is what I have. Can't get it. I hope this is not fuzzy. I really hope it isn't. As in blurry. I hope it's focusing is what I'm trying to say. In a funny kind of way. Okay. Oh, I was gonna say, if I would have been planning ahead a bit more, I would have drilled a hole in these. But that can be done after you've done this part. Or, if you don't want to drill a hole, you can just glue on a bell, what are these called? Pendant bails, I think is what they're called. And I just used E6000 glue for that. And that holds really well. Excuse me. Okay, that looks pretty good. Got some bubbles, of course. Get the bubbles out. You want to clean the glossy accents off between each bubble, because if you get too much on there, then it won't pop. And sometimes they're just too deep. Which, like I said, I'm not going for perfection here at all. I hope you probably can't see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. It's hard to... I have a lot of respect for people who make these kind of videos on a regular basis, because it is not terribly easy. I'm sure it gets easier the more you do it, but I don't know. It's still new to me. Okay, that bubble is not going anywhere, so I'm just going to put in my feather. Oops. Hopefully it's flying all over. It's got kind of a, shoot. It's got a little, there we go. There. Kind of press it in a bit. Yeah. I don't want to mess with it too much, and then I'm just gonna, I think on my first layer I put too much glossy accents. It's wanting to try to run down the edge a bit. So I might not be able to put much more on there. I might have messed up a bit. I want to keep the little plumes of the feather going the right direction. And I want to move quickly enough that this isn't gonna start to set. So it gets kind of like a film on the top as it is setting. I hope you can see what I'm doing. My feather keeps wanting to go places I don't want it to go. There. You know what else I just realized? I got just getting in too big of a hurry, and I put the feather on upside down. But actually, it looks good because my text. No, actually, what am I looking at? Oh, it is the right way. Huh. I thought that was a P, but it's a D. I'm good. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now with this, it will probably settle. And I'm getting a phone call. I'm gonna decline. Okay, it will probably settle, and I'll put another layer on. With the nice thing with glossy accents, which I think I already said this. I do have a bubble. I think I already said this, but you can layer it if you don't have a nice finish, or it just has settled too much so that whatever's embedded in it is sticking out. You can just put another coat on it, and it works quite well. And I have just set those off to the side. I do suggest that if you have like small children or pets, or just if you live in a like if you live in the plains and it's really windy and there's a lot of dust, it happens often here, put something over it like a shoe box or a lid or plastic container or something like that to kind of prevent things from settling in your glossy accents while it's drying. Just let it set and see what it looks like when it's done. Hopefully I'll be able to attach a picture at the end of this video showing you those when they're finished. And just thanks for watching, guys. That's pretty much it. And you can just go and keep making more and more as long as you have product. Yeah, but thanks for watching. I appreciate the comments, and just letting me know what you think of the videos. Thanks, guys. Bye.